and that's Jemele Hill. She had some thoughts on the whole Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen debate that I thought you would find interesting. Let's play the clip.
Now, people have been using racially coded language to describe Jackson his entire NFL career.
The San Francisco 49ers have suspended a radio analyst because of something he said about Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson. Here's what that analyst, Tim Ryan, said on a radio show Monday morning after the Ravens beat the 49ers on Sunday.
When his dark skin color, with a dark football, with a dark uniform, you could not see that thing. I mean, you literally could not see when he was in and out of the mesh point.
So if race has been a factor in how people have frankly always discussed Lamar Jackson, why would race suddenly be eliminated entirely from the equation when it comes to this MVP race? Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying if Josh Allen wins the award, it's because he's white and people are racist. I would have zero problem if he won it. But there is a theme here of Black excellence being taken for granted. And it's not just limited to sports. And sometimes that excellence is used to deny Black folks their due. A couple years ago, Variety polled 5 Grammy voters about who they voted for and who they didn't vote for. The voters were allowed to share their true feelings anonymously. One voter admitted that she didn't vote for Beyonce in any of the top categories because she has, quote, already won a lot of Grammys. Along those same lines, Simone Biles used to be penalized for her ability to execute difficult, unprecedented maneuvers because the International Gymnastics Federation was concerned that other gymnasts would hurt themselves trying to mimic Biles. So if they gave her lower scores, the other gymnasts would have less incentive to try. When you're Black, sometimes there is such thing as being too good for your own good.
I got to take a minute. Oh, I'm trying to just digest that. And so, before I hear from you, Cosell, you're Korean. I want to hear from the white guy here in the building. Butter, do you take Black excellence for granted?
Well, sitting here every day next to you, watching you, I don't know if I always fully appreciate how great you are. It's a tough comment to swallow. It gets tiresome, honestly. I get tired of it being the pinnacle, but coming from her, it seems to always be where she goes. So I don't think that I take Black excellence for granted, though. No.
Steve, I'm still trying to collect my thoughts. There was a lot she said here that I thought was ignorance, and we may have to play it over again just so I can refresh my memory. But your thoughts on what Jemele just said is...
Yeah, Black excellence in sports has never been featured or spotlighted. You know, we always overlook it. I always think it's interesting. They always relate it to sports, but never like academics or economy. With that being said, here's the issue. You are talking to somebody who believes, even with some of the factors in terms of Pro Bowl teammates and other things, if I had an MVP vote, I'd still give it to Lamar Jackson. I just look at his numbers and his overall play, and look, we get it. The greatness of Derrick Henry cannot be discounted, but I'm not going to penalize that guy for external factors. He is playing at a really high level, and you can make an argument this has been his best year out of all of them. But here's where they're not being honest. They racialized Josh Allen several years ago. There's a group of people like Dominic Foxworth on those shows. They had some issues with Josh Allen not being ashamed of being white, just being a plain, regular old white guy. And they almost turned him into a target. So when people talk about the racial element of this particular MVP race, they're not telling the whole truth of why or some of the factors involved in that.
I got to refresh my memory because I don't think I remember everything Jemele said. So I want to replay the side again, and then I may call for a pause so I can react and so I don't forget anything. Replay Jemele's comments for me one more time.
Now, people have been using racially coded language to describe Jackson his entire NFL career.
The San Francisco 49ers have suspended a radio analyst because of something he said about Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson. Here's what that analyst Tim Ryan said on a radio show Monday morning after the Ravens beat the 49ers on Sunday.
When his dark skin color, with a dark football, with a dark uniform, you could not see that thing. I mean, you literally could not see when he was in and out of the mesh point.
So if race has been a factor in how people have frankly always discussed Lamar Jackson.
Let me stop. Let's pause right here, and I'll pick up after this. But racially coded language was what she said. What was coded about him saying, hey, he's got a dark football, dark skin, and dark? He seems to be dealing with it directly. It's not coded. He's not trying to sneak something by. He's not trying to be clever. He said, hey, Lamar's got dark skin, the football's dark, and he's wearing a dark uniform. It's hard to see it at the mesh point. And I remember this controversy then. This isn't racist language. This is male sports talk language. And is Tim Ryan the guy who's talking here? Is he a former NFL player? I think
played
as well.
At USC. Played at USC.
Yeah, this is typical male football talk inside a locker room where no one's sitting around going, oh my God, I wonder what Jemele Hill or some other woman or some person that doesn't play the game understands. Black, white athletes in a locker room be like, hey man, that damn ball blended in with your skin color and I couldn't see it. I thought you had threw it. I thought you had pitched it, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's offended here. There's no coded, secret, subversive language. It's some dude talking football in an honest fashion that's inoffensive. It's just accurate. It's things that coaches and players would talk about. But you have a woman injected into a male conversation. And so, of course, she's going to feminize it and make it into something that it's not intended to be. And a bunch of other people that don't know anything about football, don't know anything about sports, don't know anything about male culture, don't understand the kind of friction and honesty and rawness that goes along with male culture. Now they want to change it into something more effeminate, something that can't be accused of being insensitive. It's a joke. And this is why I keep saying, and I know people don't understand, they don't get it, but you got to get these women up out of male spaces so men can be men and we can have honest conversations and we can get to the truth, because iron sharpens iron. Women want to turn everything into a pillow fight. And then once you turn it into a pillow fight, you know who shows up? Pillow biters. Pillow biters then show up. When I get online, I want to know that I'm safe from people trying to spy on me. That's why I love ExpressVPN. Find out how you can get 4 months free by clicking the link in the description box below or by going to expressvpn.com/fearless. And the whole conversation has changed, and now it's all an alphabet mafia conversation. Y'all think I'm sexist. I'm not. We're not equal. We complement each other. There's different lanes for each of us. And so Jemele's going to drag the conversation down to her level. She can't deal with an iron sharpens iron fight. Let's turn it into a pillow fight. And we'll all get in our panties and we'll slap each other with pillows. Next thing, then the pillow biters come in. And now it's the gayest thing on earth. And there's no iron getting sharpened. They're scissoring. Pick it up from there. I want to see if there's something else I left off here. Play it again. Play the rest of it.
Factor in how people have frankly always discussed Lamar Jackson, why would race suddenly be eliminated entirely from the equation when it comes to this MVP race? Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying if Josh Allen wins the award, it's because he's white and people are racist. I would have zero problem if he won it. But there is a theme here of Black excellence being taken for granted. And it's not just limited to sports. And sometimes that excellence is used to deny Black folks their due. A couple years ago, Variety polled 5 Grammy voters about who they voted for and who they didn't vote for. The voters were allowed to share their true feelings anonymously. One voter admitted that she didn't vote for Beyonce in any of the top categories because she has, quote, already won a lot of Grammys. Along those same lines, Simone Biles used to be penalized for her ability to execute difficult, unprecedented maneuvers because the International Gymnastics Federation was concerned that other gymnasts would hurt themselves trying to mimic Biles. So if they gave her lower scores, the other gymnasts would have less incentive to try. When you're Black, sometimes there is such thing as being too good for your own good.
One anonymous person has a response to some media poll that says Beyonce won too much, and this is now representative of the way all white people feel. And oh my God, Beyonce hasn't won enough Grammy Awards, and so her excellence is being undermined. I mean, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? One anonymous voter, and then we'll get upset if one Black person, if O.J. Simpson gets out of line in Brentwood and kills his ex-wife and some other dude, or looks like he did, or whatever it is, and don't put that on me. That's just one Black person. Don't blame that on all of Black people. And that's the standard for us. But as it relates to white people, if one person anonymously that we can't vet, we have no idea if they're Black, white, whatever, a bot, who knows? It could have been Jemele Hill, it could have been Jussie Smollett or one of these other fake race crime people, but now this speaks for all white people. And, Simone Biles and the judges did this, and it's all because she's Black. How about because when somebody shows up and they're more talented than everybody else, Michael Jordan or whatever, and how Karl Malone got an MVP or whoever, or just oh God. These people. Jemele Hill, they got nothing, they have no substance to offer, and so they just make up these little racial things to make themselves relevant, and hey, thank God they do it because it gives me plenty of content to talk about. Butter, I just want to add, you're racist just for being white.
Just for being white?
Yeah, just for being white, and
right.
You don't celebrate me or Steve Kim or anybody, the people of color, nearly enough. Like what you saw? Hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the full episode by clicking the link below.